Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Suthar. Our next speaker has spent 5 years as the communications director for a multinational customer experience management firm, helping, get this guys, Fortune 500 brands understand and improve the impact of their brand. And for the past 16 years, he's taken everything that he's learned and is now helping small to medium-sized businesses show up in the market like the big guys. He is also an award-winning film producer, speaker, and his podcast, The Rebel, has been nominated 3 years in a row for Outstanding Business Series. He teaches entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small to medium-sized businesses how to find, shape, and share their story so everyone gets it. He is here today to share with us how to uncover the brand DNA. That's right, guys, the brand DNA to build a business that matters and lasts. Please welcome, guys, Michael Dargie, CEO of Make More Creative. Oh my goodness, Michael, welcome to the show.
Oh, wow. Okay, thanks so much. Great intro. Holy cow.
Right.
I like the big guys.
Right, yeah, definitely. Now, oh my goodness. So we have spoken when we did the pre-screening, and you were telling me the magic that you do, even the few minutes before we actually started recording this, you were showing me the magic that you do with your colors in the background, right? Yeah. like little details like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have to have you on this show because there's so much that people can learn from you today. So thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. This is great.
Awesome. Now, to kind of just go straight into it, I know people are thinking, who is Michael? How did he come into this business? How did this start? So tell us a little bit about yourself, what your background is, and how that transition from working for somebody else and building your business came about.
Great question. I'll do it the Reader's Digest condensed version.
Awesome.
So way back in the 1970s, my dad got us the very first personal computer, TRS-80 from Tandy. And I learned at the tender age of 10 how to program graphics and music, just so I could learn how to do it. I really wanted to do it. Then my mom taught me desktop publishing in the 80s. And then I started teaching in the 90s at different colleges. And then I got a job, as you mentioned earlier, as the communications director at this customer experience management firm.
Right.
I spent 5 years going back and forth from Calgary to Seattle, like the first year I was there. And then I spent 5 years actually working with these big brands and then actually rebranding the firm that we were in as well. When I left that, probably 2005, I just wanted to work with people where you can make the impact, because with the larger brands, it's difficult because you can't necessarily steer that ship, because they're huge. So I decided to go into business for myself, started a company working purely with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small businesses to help them show up like the big guys.
Okay. I like that. So it's almost like you kind of learned the techniques, you learned what was needed or what was missing from the big boys, right? And now you're kind of helping out the people that are trying to become the big boys now.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Okay, I love that. Now, a little birdie told me, right? I was told that you have the ability to quickly, surgically cut out the bullshit, right? And get to the heart of what business does. Now, you got to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for asking. That is certainly a superpower. So during the course of the last 16 years, I've learned a lot working with these small businesses, and I developed a methodology I call brand jitsu. And the idea being, because I used to teach Japanese jiu-jitsu as well. And one of One of the
Something
things about
happened.
Japanese jiu-jitsu is that if you,
Something's happened there. Something went complete. Like I lost you.
yeah, I lost you too. You good?
Okay. Yeah.
Where did we drop off?
Right. So where you talk about you're doing Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right. So I used to teach Japanese jiu-jitsu. We taught it to police, military, um, security services. And one of the tenets of Japanese jiu-jitsu is that you should be able to learn it quite quickly. And we like to say within 3 minutes or less, you can learn a technique. Now it takes forever to master them, but you know how the body works and how it doesn't work. You should be able to learn it quickly so that you can use it in a combat situation. And that's sort of my concept with brand jitsu, is to, you know, be able to learn something and take something and make it immediately usable. So I created a methodology around it, how to actually find your brand DNA, how to find your personality, your voice, and then how to codify the stuff that you sell before you even get to your logo and your name and your marketing materials. So
Wait,
it's,
are you saying that all of that is more important than creating your logo and colors and making sure it's all pretty?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's precisely. And you're frozen again. Are you frozen?
Yes. What is going on?
I have no idea. Check 1, 2.
Yeah, no, you're back now. Okay. So
Weird.
so the last thing that you mentioned was, there's gonna be a lot of editing in this. Oh my goodness. So the last thing that you mentioned was that, you know, getting your messaging and putting it all together. If you can go from there, I can't remember all the bits that you said. If you go from there, and then we'll carry on.
Sure. When I was over the past 16 years, when I was working with these companies, what I found is that they always say, hey, will you do a logo, or will you make a commercial, or will you, you know, do this marketing material? And I'm like, okay, I need to know about your company. So what is it that you're about? Like, what's your voice? How do you, you know, show up in the world? And many of them are just like, I don't know. So what if you think about like an iceberg, you know, what you see above the surface is what I call the outward expression of your brand. So that's your logo, your name, your marketing materials, your website, but it's all the stuff below the surface that actually makes that happen. And down at the very bottom is something I call the brand DNA, which is where we start all the time.
Okay. So what does the brand DNA mean?
Oh, great question. And I'll brand DNA is the thing that allows you to become the company that you are. And I'll use an example.
Okay.
So I do improv at a company called Loose Moose Theater. And basically this is one of the very first places in the world that improv theater happened, improv comedy back in the 70s. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but it's pretty close to being true. Keith Johnstone started it in Calgary in 1977. And one of the things that we learn when we're performing on stage is to create a platform. So the platform is, where are you? What are you doing? Who you're with? Sorry, let me start that again. One of the things that we learn is who are you? Where are you? What are you doing? Who you're with? And what's your relationship to that person? So once you have that foundation built, then you can start to tell a story. People will understand the circle of expectations of what can possibly happen in that story, because we're making it up on the spot. Right. And I took that concept and sort of folded it into business, because I'm like, you know, what's the very first thing that people need to know? They need to know, what do you do? Why do you do it? Who do you do it for? And why do they care? So those 4 things are the foundation of your brand DNA. If you can figure out those 4 things, then everything else can build from that.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, because I feel that most businesses, when they first start out, they kind of ignore that bit. That kind of comes afterwards, and they look at, okay, what's the business name? What's the logo going to be? What branding colors, right?
Right.
How are we going to make it pretty and look attractive? So are you saying that that's not the very first things that people should be looking at then?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
And if you get, and the most important parts, I think, about this process of the DNA is the why you do it and why they care, and they being your customer. because when I talk with business owners or founders, it's really why they're doing it. What wrong are they trying to put right in the world? Like, what is it exactly that drives them to do this? And that, to me, is critical to a company's success.
So what I'm hearing from you right now is that when you're building a company, it's got to solve a problem that people are having.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So if there isn't a problem to solve, or if the problem isn't big enough, then you need to scratch that business and think about it all over again.
Well, yeah. And I think, like, use a different example. Like, I've worked with a company who's a candy maker, and her reason for being was because she lost her mother at a young age, and they used to bake together and make candies together. It wasn't until 20 years later that she decided to go into business making candies as a way for her to reconnect with her mother. Right. So there's, and that then ripples through the entire brand, right? That passion. And that's really what we're trying to find when we're building that DNA portion, is where does the passion come from?
Okay. So it's really what is this story, the deep rooted story of why people are doing or building this business?
Yeah. When we do the DNA, we try and come up with a sentence or two that I call the unvarnished truth. So this is not the marketing message. This is just the clear and simple, no bullshit, no glitz and glamour reason why you're doing what you're doing and who you're doing it for and why they care. That's what we're trying to figure out. And from there, we figure out what the brand promises. What is it that you're promising to people when they interact with your brand? And then once you know that, you can always continue to check back on that and make sure that that's what you're accomplishing.
I see. Oh, I love that. I love how you get really deep, you get to the root, and then just build on that. Because I guess people don't like to talk about it, right? They don't want to talk about why they want to build this business. It might be too personal, or it might come from, as people say, come from a negative place where it doesn't necessarily, it's not negative. It's just the experience that you've gone through yourself, right? And Absolutely. Now you want to make the world a better place. And I guess you don't want people to necessarily go through the things that you went through. So you want to provide a solution for people,
Absolutely.
right? So I love that. And so tell me this then, Michael, what qualifies you as an expert? Like, did you get a degree in this? Do you have papers? Like, why are you qualified as an expert?
Great question. I mean, I guess I've just always done this. In the 90s, I worked for a company where we taught like computer programs. Mm-hmm. And there was no program for new media, because new media and the internet and video editing and that stuff was brand new. So I wrote the curriculum for the new media program here in Calgary. And then I got a job as the dean at a design college as well. And then I got into, the communications director position at Service Intelligence. And then I've been working and doing this stuff nonstop. So I'm completely self-taught, but I've also been teaching. I've got about 38,000 hours I've calculated teaching people things over the course of my career. Yeah.
Okay. So it's real life experience, basically what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just build
putting it into practice.
Right, exactly. So, all right, I've got a question for you then in that case, because you've been doing this for so long. You must have seen so many different changes, especially in technology. How have you managed to keep up with the changes?
Great question. Some I don't. Like there's some that just you can't keep track of all of them. Like there's stuff happening in AI right now and machine learning that just blows my mind.
Oh wow.
In terms of, actually having the computer do a lot of work for you when it comes to even buying things or writing stuff now. I personally, I'm aware of the stuff that's happening, but the stuff I choose to employ, isn't there. Like I continue to write my own copy. I'll write copy for the commercials. I won't have a bot do that. If I'm going to write an article, I'll write it. I'm not going to get a computer to do it for me.
Right.
I'm not huge on social media, just because I choose to spend my time elsewhere.
Okay, I see. So are you saying then that people don't necessarily need to kind of spread themselves out and be on social media? Because I think that's what the interpretation is these days that you have to be on social media.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that you don't, or if you're going to choose one or two platforms that you really, connect with. But I think that spreading yourself too thin, especially as a business owner,
Right.
If you're going to be on social media, you should be the one engaging people, not having somebody else engage for you, right? Because you're the keeper of that brand and the keeper of that promise. So if you're on Twitter and TikTok and like all these different platforms and things, when do you get to actually work on your business?
Okay.
And when do you get to shut off? That's the other thing. Like, I think that there's a lot of benefit in just turning all this shit off.
Right. Okay, but when you think about these big gurus, the big boys, like you said earlier, like Gary V, he's everywhere. You can't get away from him. He's on every social media platform, right? So when people see someone like him, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do exactly what he does to get to where he is.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all he's doing, though. He didn't start there. He started building that, but he also has a team of people behind him that are working on this stuff, right? So it's his message and his voice, but there's all the production behind it.
Right. Okay. So what I'm hearing from you right now is when you're first starting off and you're like a one-man band, right? Then you've got to be careful as to which platform, where you want to spend your time, making sure that you are being productive, right? But the minute you start growing, and you have to build a team, because as you scale, there's no way you're going to be able to do everything yourself.
Absolutely.
Build a team. That's when you can expand and be on all these different platforms, social media, and be everywhere.
Yeah.
But you've got to build a team in order to do that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. I've got it. Understand. I think that's where people misunderstand, because they're like, they've got to do that straight away. Otherwise, they're not going to make it. And in fact, that will actually destroy your business rather than actually building it and expanding it to where you want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing what your voice is, as your brand voice, will allow you to do some stuff of meaningful things in social media, as opposed to just pumping stuff out.
Yeah. Okay. So what does meaningful mean? Is everything that you're talking about match up with your brand promise? Okay.
Are you making a difference in the world in some way, in the way that you intend to? So whatever your business is, like my entire reason for being is to help people find, shape, and share their story so everybody gets it. Mm-hmm. So when I go out there in the world as Make More Creative, is that what I'm saying? Are the things that I'm offering helpful in that way? Okay. So it basically means give people value in content. Yeah. Show a picture of you, I don't know, walking a dog. That might be cute, but that doesn't give anyone any value. Right. Right. Okay. All right. I see. And so are you able to teach a principle to our audience today that they can relate to and immediately apply in the business? Well, yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's let's talk about the brand DNA for a second. Okay. The whole idea here is to figure out, what do you do? Mm-hmm. Why do you do it? Who do you do it for? And why do they care? Okay. And I'll use a huge example. And again, I haven't worked with this company, so I'm making this up and we're going back in time. But Nike didn't start off as the giant global brand it is currently. It did start off with a guy named Bill Bowerman, who is a coach at the University of Oregon, and one of his athletes, Philip Knight. And Bill Bowerman made shoes for his athletes. That's what he did. He like my dad was one of his athletes back at the University of Oregon, and I grew up hearing stories of Bill Bowerman making my dad shoes with his wife's waffle iron. And oh yeah, what? Yeah, and how does that work? That's how he made his waffle treads in the Nike shoes, right? Oh. So Philip, long story short, and you can get a lot of this out of Shoe Dog, but Philip Knight was buying and selling shoes from Asia into the track and field market in North America. Right. And then he went to Bill and said, hey, can we use some of your designs? And Bill said, sure. They had a company called Blue Ribbon Sports. for about 10 or 11 years, whatever, before they turned into Nike. Now, I tell that story because if we go back to what do you do, why do you do it, who do you do it for, why do they care? What do you do? They made shoes. Like back then, they made shoes. That's period, end of discussion, that there's nothing else.
Right.
There. So getting that clear on what you do is critically important. It's not we make great shoes. It's not that we make excellent shoes. Strip out all the crap and we make shoes. Why does he do it? Bill Bowerman was a coach. His job was to help his athletes perform better. So he made shoes for his athletes to help them perform better. That's what he did. That's why he was doing it. His passion was to help his athletes. Who did he do it for? Athletes, like 100%. Mm-hmm. And why do they care? Because it made a difference in their performance, right? Mm-hmm. Nike's brand promises basically, if you have a body, you're an athlete, right? Ah. So again, if you go back and if you can boil down what you do, why you do it, who you do it for, why they care, into this very clear picture, it then, ramps into everything else. One of their very first advertising campaigns was a print ad that said there is no finish line. And it's somebody running past a lake with some trees. There wasn't even a product shot in it. Oh, and wow. that speaks to the athlete in everyone. Yeah. Right? That you don't quit. You continue to push yourself. And that to me is the power of the DNA, the brand promise. If you have a body, you're an athlete, and finding your voice. Right. There is no finish line. Just do it. The three most powerful words. Anyway, so that's what we're fighting for. And the other thing, I guess, is that fighting for the truth of it all, like getting at the unvarnished truth, and to not get caught up in the, trying to make it marketing bejazzlement, right from the get-go, but figure out what that truth is, because those are the stories that people remember.
Right. Okay. That makes complete sense now. And I like how you use Nike, because everyone can relate to that. Everyone knows who Nike is and what it does. So yeah, thanks for that. That's really put things into place. So I've got another question for you. Do you have any recent success stories that you can share with our audience today? Because I know they'd be dying to hear some of those.
Sure. I'll be super quick about it. There's lots. One of the ones that really stands out is this was about 2 years ago. I was approached by a company that they had engaged a marketing firm here in town, and they spent 4 months and $30,000 trying to figure out their brand. And at the end of that time, by the time they got to me, they had a 1-page Word document that was just marketing bullshit. It was like, it made no sense whatsoever. I had no sense of who that brand was.
Right. So
I basically applied my methodology to their challenge. Mm-hmm. And we had 2 sessions, like one full day, then a week goes by, then another full day. Mm-hmm. And we literally uncovered their brand in that time, and took them to market. Now they, before we did their branding work, they would spend 4 hours in a client meeting and, perhaps win the business 20% of the time. And that was a long time to spend, with a client for a very small success rate.
Right.
Now, when we got finished and they could tell their story quickly and effectively and get to the why, it was 20-minute meetings with an 80% success rate.
Wow.
So it's the power of being able to tell your story in a compelling way that your audience understands or connects with. Yeah. And I guess the other side of that too is to stop talking about yourself. It's when you're a company, it's not about you, which is weird to think about, but it's about the customer that you're serving. So it's their hero's journey that you're supporting. Your job as a company is to help support their journey. And as soon as you can start, speaking in their language and connect your story with their story, that's when magic happens.
Okay. So the secret behind that is you're going to change your messaging to make sure that it's about your audience and stop talking about yourself, right? People don't really care or want to hear about you. They want to know how you can help them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes complete sense. And I think a penny has dropped with a lot of people that's going to listen to this now, because a lot of people do just, I guess it's human nature just to talk about yourself.
Well, it's the thing that you know the most.
Right.
And oftentimes it just takes a moment to look at like your copy on your website. And I've done this for clients before where we do a we to you ratio analysis, where how many times do you talk about we and how many times do you talk about you? So if you go, we do this and we do that and we're all this and, you know, what we do is great. Then you look at, you know, you need this and you need that. Your challenge is this. How many times do you talk about yourself over the other person?
Right. Oh,
and now if you could flip that script, that then increases engagement.
Right. That's interesting because now you saying this, I'm kind of reflecting back, and I've heard a lot of people say when they write copy, there's too many I's in here. We've got to change that. Too many I's. And I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So we've got to get rid of the I's and we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
Right. Make it about your audience, the people that are going to be buying from you.
Exactly. Well, if you show them success, if you show them how they're successful, and how you support them, I look at it like you're Yoda or maybe you're Obi-Wan, right? And I'll date myself here, but you know, so you've got the Force. You know how the Force works, and you're going to teach Luke or Leia how to use the Force. But Luke and Leia are on their very own journey. They're in their own story, and it's a big one. You're just there to help support them, to show them how to use that Force in, you know, to benefit their journey. And that's really all we're trying to do as business owners.
Okay. All right. And I guess this is a new habit that people are going to have to enforce, especially if you're a business owner.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I love that. Thanks so much for that. Because that I guess is a different perspective to have, right? And you got to change your entire messaging and make sure it is about your audience. So that's awesome, Michael. Thanks for mentioning this and bringing it up.
You're welcome.
Is there a way, people are going to be thinking, is there a way, oh my goodness, that we can get it in touch with Michael, because they need you, right? They need to sort out their messaging, their marketing and what's going on there. How can people get hold of you? And do you have, if anyone wants to dabble, right, and find out a little bit more about you, do you have any kind of additional free resources that people can download?
Kind of. That's very good. I'll answer a couple of those questions. First of all, go to makemorecreative.com is the website.
Okay.
And that's where you can learn more about what, how I can support you. But for you guys specifically on the Uncensored Society podcast, I've got a page, which is makemorecreative.com/uncensored. And in there, there's a link to my Calendly where you can book a free 30-minute session so we can do some one-on-one stuff and we can actually talk about your business. There's no cost to it whatsoever, but I can, give you some insight on stuff that I've seen and maybe, direct you in a certain way or answer some questions or brainstorm. And then you can actually jump into our mailing list as well. So you can find out when we've got workshops coming up, because we work with companies all the time in workshop settings.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Oh my God, I feel so special. Listeners feel so special, right? Because you've done something for us and we can actually get on a call with you and actually have a one-on-one discussion to find out how we need to strategize better with our messaging, right?
Yeah,
so thank you so much for doing that for our audience and our listeners. That's amazing. And guys, if you want to speak with Michael, make sure you do go down to that link. Make sure you book a call with him, go onto his website, have a conversation with him, find out what else he's doing. And remember, all the links will be in the show notes below. So make sure you do scroll down. They're all there. Michael, it was amazing to have you here. Thank you for coming on to the show. So many golden nuggets. I loved it. Thanks once again.
Oh, thank you, Kay.
Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.